Colorado Football Conference training video. As always, anybody shown in this video is not to demean, belittle, or show anybody up. This is strictly for educational purposes for officials, coaches, and players. Trying to keep these videos about 15 to 20 minutes tops. Had a lot of stuff to cover after last week, so this one is a little bit lengthy with the holiday coming next week as well. It's about a half an hour, hopefully some good stuff. As always, let me know if you have any questions. Play 1, blocking below the waist. There's a couple of plays of illegal blocks below the waist. Remember, in the CFC, blocking below the waist is prohibited by all players with the exception of the 5 down interior linemen, simultaneous with the snap. Now, by simultaneous, we allow the element of time for 1 second as long as it's part of the initial charge, the same action. Here is a legal block by the left tackle here. Play 2, similar example. Center snaps it, cuts the nose tackle. Legal block. Here's an example on play 3 of an illegal block. It is a running back, so by rule, this year in the CFC, again, all players are prohibited with the exception of the linemen. So this includes running backs, whether he's stationary or in motion, he cannot block below the waist. Here we have play 4, a chop block. Chop block is a high-low combination. It is not 2 low blocks. A lot of times the verbiage is confused. A chop block versus a block below the waist. A chop block is a high-low. Here we have the center and the right guard. The center cuts the defender. The right guard engages up high. Now, the defender's force is so strong that he actually knocks back the offensive tackle, but the intent was to drive him back and cut him. So this would be a chop block. Generally bigger, but in the name of safety, I'm okay with that call. In play 5, we have an example where the left guard and left tackle are involved, and the left tackle is actually trying to get to the second level. He bumps into the defender as he's going by him, but he does not engage, he does not hold him up. He is simply trying to get to the linebackers so he can block at the second level. This would not be a foul, and it is correctly picked up on the field. Here he's trying to get to the second level. Crew correctly talked and picked it up. In play 6, we have a horse collar foul. Now, definition of a horse collar. Let's review. Remember, it has the main issue here is the grab in the nameplate area, the horse collar, anywhere in that area. In the name of safety, we want to err on the side of safety for fouls like this. Technically, he does need to go down. However, the key is if the knees buckle or twist from the side or from behind, we would support a horse collar foul. Technically, or most of the time, they are going to go down, but in the event he does not go down, the knees buckle, we're okay with that. If he falls forward or drags a defender with him, then it is not a horse collar. Keep in mind also that running backs or quarterbacks within the tackle box, there is no foul for horse collar. If a defender is being blocked by 3 guys and is good enough to reach up and grab him and pull him down in any way, the defender gets the break there. That would not be your horse collar foul. So a couple of things to look for is, again, from the side or from behind. Here on a kickoff, we see as the stiff arm comes, the tackler coming up from the side, this is when the radar should go up. The elements are there for a horse collar, so lock in and see if the elements are there. In this case, you see that buckle from the side, pulls him sideways, directly down. Right there is where the safety issue is of concern. So go ahead and get this. We do. Okay, play 7. Another example of a horse collar. In this particular example, not so black and white. This is a very tough call. Maybe not even a horse collar by rule, but we would support you for safety. He doesn't buckle the knees the same, but he does grab up high, twists him back. So we can support this. It's a tough get. So, but we definitely would support that. You see, his whole body's been twisted. So his feet actually may have come off the ground a bit whenever they twist him here. But it's tough with this angle. I'd like to see an end zone shot. Definitely would support a flag in that situation though. Which is going to get me to the next point here. You should see here, and rightfully so, they're worried about their players. We've got a coach that's upset here. He's immediately going to head down to the side judge. We also got another coach here. And players all over the place. And gentlemen, we talked about this. It's a point of emphasis from last year. I will support you. This is a foul. Okay, it's one thing if they come up and talk to you and ask you a question. It is another thing if they come out on the field and are angry and yelling at you. Those are exactly the things that we want called. In addition, I would support a sideline interference here. The play is not even over, and you are having to go around coaches and worry about your personal safety. We need to get the sideline back. Okay? Get the coaches back. If you need to flag them, we want to try to keep our flags in our pocket, but we also are not there to be the run end of their anger. So I would support you on a flag with that. Here's another example. After a touchdown, we had a flag for excessive celebration. The crew is talking, and they're going to wave off the penalty, but before they get the chance to do any of that, coach is already down at the 5-yard line. Piece of advice, crew, officials, anytime a coach comes sprinting down like that, we tell them in pregame that if they come running down the field like that, we're going to give them a timeout, because there is no other reason in the game that a coach would go running outside the box all the way down to the 5-yard line. So if he comes down, go ahead and stop the clock and give him a timeout. If he continues and stays there, then go ahead and flag him. All right? He has no reason to be down there. Somebody at this point should go ahead and walk him back while the rest of us discuss what we have to do. Okay, there's only one flag here so far, so we don't need 5 of us. Okay, now as a player comes on, apparently says something, but right here is the second one. Okay, so at this point, this gentleman has removed himself. And we still have the coach standing over here at the 8 or 10-yard line. We don't look sure of what we're doing here, crew, so let's be solid. Let's do what we have to do. Someone walk the coach back. If we've ejected the player, we need to escort him off. If we're going to make this one event, then we need to talk. But let's get this solved and move on with the game. But the biggest issue of this here is the coach being down at the 10-yard line. So let's take care of this going forward. I will support you. If you're going to walk them back, walk them back. If they refuse, then you have a flag. Okay? All right, play 9. Play 9 is not a target. It's actually a hit on a defenseless player, which is a legal hit. It's a very good hit. The only way you can have a targeting on a blindside hit would be is if they hit them in the head or neck area on a receiver, or of course with the crown of the helmet. You have 913 or 914 rule. So here is a great job by this defender of lowering his target zone and making sure that he does not hit up high. And as a result, receiver is able to get up and walk away. And just a good overall play by the defender here. Okay, play 10. Take a look at the receiver after this play here. This is where we need to expand our vision and not be locked in on the ball. Okay, runner's going down. Play's ending. He's coming down right there. He's in the middle on the ground. Look at this gentleman. Now, we have a line of scrimmage person coming in. Probably the last one, I would think, to get that because they're squaring off, coming to spot. They're looking through players, trailing the play. However, we do have a deep wing that's out ahead of the play. I would hope would see that, and certainly a back judge as well. This is the stuff that we want to get. Umpire catches the tail end of it. Well, sure, he can't call that. But we need to expand our vision and make sure that we're not just watching the ball, folks. This is something we want called. It should be called. You back judge, you're in the prime position. It's another example of something that we want to get. I'm not sure if this was called or not because the film cuts off, but here at the end of the play's over. Everything's dead. And we've got a guy that wants to come in and light somebody up. This has nothing to do with the game. This would be an unsportsmanlike conduct, non-football act. 2 of these and he's gone. Okay, this is not under the old rules of personal foul and sports use unnecessary roughness. You can have 10 of those. No. Unsportsmanlike conduct, non-football act. Get this out of the game. No reason for this. Okay, play 12. Play 12, this is an example of a block in the back. And as you see, reverse goes the other side. And here, the the lineman locks in on the defender. This is classic example. Doesn't mean something's going to happen. But when you see guys looking to go against the grain or upstream, this is where the elements of the fouls should pop out. Okay, the running back's going around the end. He's still not even in the line of scrimmage. He's around the corner. Defender's pursuing him. And right here, he's targeted him. He's found his target. You see that guy, especially from the backside wing, backside deep wing. You've got the bigger picture, the wider angle. You get to see the whole action of this guy spin, curve, target, and go right towards him. These are fouls we've got to get, and unfortunately this was missed. But things like this can lead to worse issues. So have your heads not on a swivel, I should say. Expand your zone, expand your vision, and let's do all we can to pick these up. And you see he gets about 12, 14 yards more. He may have made the tackle. He may not have, but it's right at the point of attack. We want to get that. Okay, play 13, another example of block in the back, only this one is not a block in the back. This is actually a great block by the receiver, you'll see up here. He engages the defender on the side, never disengages, locks him up, and just shoves him right past the play. Of course, the defender has his hands up looking for a foul, but that's a great block. He's on the side, drives him all the way. In addition, the defender does not even go down. Typically, if it's a block in the back, he is going to go down. He's most often going to land on his face. It's rare that someone could spin that quickly in the air and land on their back or land on their face if they're pushed in the front. So, great block here, and great job of seeing the block and not calling it. There are 6 categories for defensive pass interference. 1 is early contact by a defender before the ball has arrived. 2 is playing through the back of a receiver in an attempt to make a play on the ball. 3 is the grab and restrict, grabbing and restricting in such a manner that restricts the receiver's opportunity to catch a pass. 4 is extending an arm across the body, or known as the arm bar, restricting his ability to catch a pass. 5 is cutting off or riding the receiver out of the path by making contact without playing the ball. And 6 is the hook and restrict receiver in an attempt to make a ball in such a manner that causes the receiver's body to turn just prior to the ball arriving. Play 14. Example of what is not pass interference. No restriction here. Receiver runs right by him. Defender stays even with him. Never takes his feet away. Does not grab. Does not arm bar. No restriction. We would never want anything like this called. Okay, play 15. This is an example of pass interference here. Right there, they're fine. They're both chicken fighting. You see this a lot. People will yell, look, they're screaming, they're yelling, look, they're grabbing, pass interference. No, look, they're both grabbing each other. It's chicken fighting. But at this point, the defender is now in a position to foul because he is not looking at the ball. Okay, if he's playing the ball and they're chicken fighting, you've got nothing. But if he restricts that receiver and he's not playing the ball, that is a category of pass interference by early contact with not playing the ball. And remember, for pass interference, there must be contact. He definitely twists him, restricts him enough to make it difficult for him to catch the ball. The receiver actually makes a good little adjustment at the end and almost comes up with it, but definitely pass interference by the defense here. And it's okay, take your time, talk, back judge if you have something to offer and you have a different angle. Go ahead and get in there and talk. Nothing wrong with that. Play 16 is another example. This is not pass interference here. This is just bang, bang. Right as the ball is arriving, the defender contacts him. You can see he hasn't even hit him yet and the ball's in the air. Just as it arrives, he makes contact. We would not want that called either. Okay, play 17. This is an example. This is an easy call. He pushes him before the ball's there. Not a big deal. The key is we have 2 flags here. Okay, if we have 1 flag, then we can give a preliminary signal to the referee and we can start on our way. But we have 2. So let's make sure we slow down and let's make sure we talk, which apparently we do because we've got both officials involved, the line of scrimmage and the deep official both there on the right. So they did talk, but remember, pass interference enforcement, it's key to make sure you get your flag in the right spot. Play 18 here. It's not a face mask. Guy's making a tackle, grabs up high, you could see. Definitely an awkward play, but if we got this, I would definitely support it. You see he has to adjust his helmet there. Definitely got something. It was not intentional. Remember, we do have to have a grab and twist for it to be a face mask. This is just a unique one. I know a couple players were not happy about it, but if we can get this, great. If not, if you see something, at least get in, talk to them, tell them to watch their hands. So just an interesting play, but make sure you'd let them know if you saw it. Play 19, an example of intentional grounding, or what is not intentional grounding. Remember, a receiver in the area trumps all, so the quarterback does not have to be outside the pocket if there's a receiver in the area. As far as legally grounding the ball without a receiver in the area, there's a couple of elements to that. Number 1, the quarterback must be outside the pocket. Number 2, the ball must cross the line of scrimmage. Now, we're not going to split hairs here. If it's within a yard or less, we're going to make that to the line of scrimmage. Also, that line of scrimmage is not limited to just the field. It wraps all the way around the world. So if it doesn't cross the line of scrimmage in the field to play, but by the time it gets up 20 rows into the stands, it has crossed the line, that has crossed the line of scrimmage for intentional grounding purposes and therefore would not be a flag. He would have legally grounded the ball. So again, outside the pocket, he can have a receiver in the area, or the ball must get across the line. If he's inside the pocket, the only way he can throw it away while under duress is if there's a receiver in the area. They can throw it away at any time if they're not under duress. So if the quarterback drops back, there's nothing, he realizes he doesn't have anything, he's not under pressure, and he just throws the ball away, he's fine. Okay? Understand the differences. Here he rolls out, gets outside the pocket, downfield, there's the line of scrimmage. Okay, you've got a couple guys that you could argue are in the area, but that one is easy also. It crosses the line, so not a foul. All right, here's mechanics here. False start, when you want to crash in here, we kind of go in slowly. Let's, again, start with the whistle in your mouth. If you have a live snap, let it drop. But let's get in there with some urgency, shut these down before anything bad happens. Okay, this is an example here of just players' behavior and our overall mechanics when we're trying to announce a penalty. Here we've got a little bit of space, still not a whole lot. But we've at least got 1.5 yards or so, 3-4 feet. As he's announcing his penalty, players want to crowd up in his space, and they want to argue. White hat, go ahead and come on out. Move away from the players before you begin your announcement. Step out and separate if you can. Also, the rest of the crew, where are the other officials? Get these guys out of the way. If this were on TV, which we need to assume everything is, we don't want 8 people in the screenshot. Everybody wants to see the white hat, what he's announcing, what he's signaling, and what the enforcements are. No one can see this. In addition, technically, one could say there's a safety issue when they're crowding him like this. So, rest of the crew, we should be getting these guys back. Players, you've got to give the official space. Hey, finally, the umpire comes in. Thank you, Donnie. Good job. He's trying to keep him back. The players aren't budging. So at this point, let's walk away, white hat, and let's let the rest of the crew kind of push him back. But okay, we've got 1, 2, 3. You know, there's number 4 around the side over there that was talking to him. That's not counting the 3 players on the far right that are talking, or the 4. We've got 7, 8 players there, all within a 5-yard radius, while the white hat was trying to give his announcement. Okay, let's be better than this. Players, let's get back. All right, play 22 is an example of mechanics for goal line. Remember, line of scrimmage officials, ball snap between the 7 and goal line. We do want to get to the goal line. Also, biggest thing about this play is your personal safety. Okay, game administration is responsible for those sidelines, but you are the one that's ultimately working them. So let's get this sideline clear. There's plenty of room still in the stands, up on the hill, on the track. I understand they may be limited to space, but not in that particular area. Inside the 10-yard line, that whole area should be nothing but green. No cameras, no ball boys, nothing. For your safety, for your sake, please get that area clear. Okay, the gentleman standing at the goal line in your way, if you do get there, you got to back up. He's in the way. Okay, you've got this guy here ready. He's excited. He's definitely at risk. Someone gets blown up, he's in the way. That is not your concern. Your concern is your safety. So let's get this clear. Also, we need to be on the goal line to rule. That's where you're trying to get to. And of course, it's so clogged up there that we can't get there. So let's get that side clear. If you got to stop the game for a second, stop the game. Pause it. Get everybody cleared out, especially these goal line situations. Okay, play 23 is, this is an example of the presence of some of the officials after a play here. You've got a guy that is involved in a block, kind of gets held and loses balance, falls down on an offensive lineman. Offensive lineman is angry, thinks he did it on purpose, gets up here, and now we've got an issue. Right there, we missed that. Now, we're not going to eject anybody for that unless we've had major issues, but we want to be there to stop that and let them know we saw that. We definitely would support a flag there. Okay, umpire turns around, but we've got the back judge and the side judge come hustling in. Good job, good presence to let them know you're there. That's what we need all the time. And hopefully, just like a police officer, if they know you're there, they're less likely to misbehave. But good job, deep guys. Okay, play 24 is a face mask enforcement penalty. Players, again, standing around. Officials, we look a little unsure. Let's get our penalty discussed quickly. Let's get it right, but let's do it efficiently, and let's enforce the penalty. Okay, right here we've got several players standing around listening to the discussion. Right then, these three want to walk away from the players. Line of scrimmage guys or someone not involved hold the spot, but we have got to get them back. Okay, we've got a couple of officials. In fact, we've got three officials not involved in this discussion at all. We should be getting players back. Okay, at this point, see, we're still, it's a 15-yard penalty. It's added on to the end of the run. If you got to cross the line of scrimmage, it's added on to the end of the run. It should not be taking this long. 15 yards, let's mark it off, and let's go. You play 25. This is an example of presence after the touchdown. It's a good job by the deep official here and the umpire both. The defense comes over. You got a couple of upset players coming over talking a little bit of trash. And side judge steps in, gets in the middle. Umpire's already hustled over and is getting the gentleman in the yellow back. So excellent job of getting in between and handling that before it escalates into anything worse. This is an example of roughing the kicker. Bad snap over his head. He does stay within that tackle box, regathers himself, and gets lit up. This would be roughing the punter, roughing the kicker. If he's off balance, if he's running and has not set himself as a kicker, then the contact would be warranted. But he does reestablish himself, squares up, gets the punt off, and gets hit. This is a roughing the kicker penalty. Shows an example of unabated defensive offside. This defender, okay, he is even with the offensive lineman. When they are shoulder to shoulder, there is no way that that offensive lineman can actually get out and block him if the ball were to be snapped at this point. So that defender would have a clear shot to the quarterback, which is a definite safety issue. So in this case, we would be okay with shutting this down with unabated to the quarterback. Defensive offside, unabated to the quarterback, 5 yards, etc. This is not shut down, and it's okay. The one exception is because the defender is actually, he starts going backwards. He's at a disadvantage when the ball is snapped. He's now in the zone, but he's going back. So if you don't stop it right there and you let it go, which we all do, sometimes you're a little slow on it, that's okay. This would be the one exception. But if he's still in there and you're late to shut it down and he continues on a path to the quarterback, shut it down, shut it down, shut it down. We do not want any clean shots on vulnerable defenseless players here. Okay, so he's going backwards. I get why you didn't shut it down. It's okay that you didn't, but definitely would support killing this play. Play 27. Here we have a fumble. When in doubt, the ball is out by philosophy. If we're not sure whether the progress is stopped or whether he's down. So he's still breaking free. Ball's out. Good job ruling fumble on that. Ball's still loose. At this point, we need to get in there, though. Somebody needs to get in. Whose ball is it? Let's signal the other way, and let's go. We've got a coach on the field that wants to come out and help us. Somebody needs to walk him back. If he's talking to players of the other team, we definitely need to get him off of there. But bottom line is, let's make a decision. Let's go the other way and get these coaches off the field. If you're one of the officials not involved, one of you deep guys, get them off. Play 28. This is excellent positioning by this deep official. He's right on the goal line. Tough play. Receiver, no one else can tell for sure but him. He's in prime position. We don't have HD. We don't have a pylon camera, but he is in perfect position here. Holds onto the ball. We roll incomplete. No one argues that. You're the one in position. What I would add is, let's be strong in our calls, confident, and let's let everybody know up in the stands that he caught the ball, but he is out of bounds. So therefore, go ahead and give the incomplete signal once or twice, and then a couple of waves out. That tells everybody that he caught it, but he is out. The ball's on the ground. Everybody sees that. It's easier to just signal incomplete. But go ahead and be demonstrative here and let everybody know what you have. Sell the call. But very good positioning. Let's go ahead and sell the call. Play 29. Excellent hustle. Way to get in by this umpire. Fumble. Gets in hard, quick. Sells the call. First down, other way. Lets everybody in the stands know this is how you get on top of things quickly. Nice job, umpire. Sees the ball's out. It's recovered. Clear possession. Runs in. Sells it. Signals. Nice job. I don't think there's any doubt whose ball it is. This concludes week 3 video. Please feel free to reach out to me with any questions. For those working this weekend, have a great game.